What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. The jet boat is back finally. This is the build that a lot of you guys have been waiting for. This is a build that I've been waiting to finish up. I'm hyped now that this entire motor is hooked up. I'll show you guys what he did up in here. Now, up on this front console, they took off the one controller they had on this left side of the steering wheel. This one on the right, this is basically just for your throttle control. And on the side, this is your shifter for reverse. They've got two buttons here, push start button. The red one is basically the kill switch, and the silver one on top starts the engine. Now it is all hooked up. This thing's ready to go out in the water. I really just kind of want to take it out there right now and test it the way it's sitting, but I'm going to try to get this thing finished up as soon as possible. I do have my buddy who's going to paint this thing, Billy. Billy painted the creature build. He's a painter. He does some killer work. I'm not exactly sure what color we're going to paint this thing, but it's going to be sick, and it's going to be getting painted hopefully by the end of this month. So I've got a lot to do. I already had all these hatches built to go inside of here. And unfortunately, whoever worked on this engine decided that they wanted to play with the welder, and they decided to weld all these little spots, these edges inside of where these drop-in hatches go. They weren't welded for a reason. I don't want to weld those because the hatches have to fit in there and they were already tight. And they used an aluminum MIG welder. They got some giant beads inside of here. Literally 24 welds. I'm just gonna have to come back and grind them completely off. Completely waste of time, but it is what it is. We're gonna get that done. I've got Austin working on the boat now. He's been building the boxes. All these hatches are gonna have removable box pans inside of them. That way you can access up underneath of them, but he'll still have a lot of storage inside of there. I didn't wanna just box them off permanently because this engine has a lot going on with it, and it would definitely help to be able to access it from all sides. I'm gonna turn this camera around and I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that they hooked up on this engine and how it's all ran. Let's get back to work. All right, so check it out. We got these filters and stuff hooked up on here. There's intake. Everything's ready to rock and roll. This is his water out. Comes out the side back here. Basically just like you have on the outboards. It's like a telltale. It'll piss water out here. It looks good. I mean, everything really does look good. They put a small battery over here. This is basically just like the cranking battery for the engine itself, mini jet. I don't know who he had work on this, but yeah, you can see they put these big fat MIG welds in here. And those areas were not supposed to be welded because the hatch has to drop in there. And you can see it obviously sticks out a lot. Some of them look better than others, but I don't know why they even wanted to weld on the stuff. They're not welders. They're supposed to be mechanics. Whatever. So I guess this is part of like his computer here. This thing, I don't think it's going to be in my way. It's going to be close, but I think it's going to be all right. But inside of this big hatch here, we're going to have a big drop-in box here, a shallow box there, and a big box on that side. And then obviously we got the big hatch just going over this whole motor. And then on this side, this is going to be a big removable pan on this side too. It's probably about 10 inches deep. And that side over there is going to have a big rod locker in it. Now, they hooked up all these gas lines and stuff, and it looks good. It's got a fill on the side here. I guess they just completely disregarded this marker here that says front of console because they pushed it back about 4 inches. So it's all bolted down. Everything's hooked up and wired in, so we're not going to be able to move it. So I'm going to have to shorten this up to here. I was planning on bringing it back a little bit farther. It is what it is. It's not going to be the end of the world. This is his vent tube right here coming up out the side. Got some stains on here. That's because gasoline was coming out of it when he drove it here. Not exactly sure what's up with that. We've got our work cut out for us. We've got a lot to do to get this thing finished up, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen now. Let's get back to work, guys. right, so I had to move this center console back where I had it originally marked at because the steering cable that's in this thing is tight. I mean, it's very, very tight. It just barely has enough play for you to turn left to right without it catching up. And the problem is, you can see right here, this is the cable that I'm talking about. And I was gonna make this come straight off of here down to the floor. Well, this thing's not gonna let that happen because it's in the way. I don't know why they didn't just move this cable, you know, off to the side a little bit. The way it's installed in the back, it probably could have given me like another 3 or 4 inches if they had brought it around where the battery sits at. But either way, it's still too short. I mean, originally this console was supposed to mount right here. This deck was supposed to have 2 big hatches in it. And I think that that's where we're running into this issue because we had measured for the console to sit back here. And that's the length of the steering cable that he ordered. So now that they moved it forward, you know, another 16, 18 inches, it takes into my floor space. I think what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and put the floor in and then figure out for this top, I might have to build some type of, you know, angled piece or something that goes up here just so I can hide this one cable up here and give it enough slack. It might be a little funky. I think it'll look cool. It'll be hidden. It'll look like it's part of the design, but it'll have a reason for it also. Guys, my neck is killing me. I pulled something in my back. So if you see me looking at you a little funky, it's kind of hard to turn my head right now. But what Austin's been working on is all of these boxes. Now, this obviously is going to be a huge box up here. This one's going to have the batteries inside of it. He did order a Minn Kota Ultrex trolling motor. It's 24 volt. It's going to get shipped to my shop. We're putting the 2 batteries in here. I'm mounted up on the bow. So this front box is going to be heavy duty. This box is going to be welded solid inside of the hatch. You can see he's got it right here. Hard for me to turn my neck that way, but this is what we're talking about right here. So this is going to have 2 batteries in it, and it'll still have a little bit of storage around those batteries. But then this is the other ones right here. Now these boxes, this one goes inside of that hatch right there. That's the slot for the handle to catch on it. But this box is going to have screws in it. That way you can take this out because it's going to go right in here. And with this box removable, it gives you access to all this stuff around the engine in case you need to get to the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and measure up the floor. I got to get this floor in the boat. I'm trying to get the floor finished up because I'm tired of walking in there on these stupid floor ribs. And I want to get this installed so I can start framing out around the rest of this drop-in area. We don't have a ton of stuff left to do. I really just need to finish up all of these hatches so I can ship them off to the powder coaters. I need to build all these boxes and bins and dry fit everything one last good time. And then it's off to the powder coaters so we can get the rest of this stuff wrapped up. So I'm gonna get this floor figured out, guys. Let's get back to work. right, guys, so it's Friday. We made a lot of progress on the boat this week. I'm getting ready to head out of here, but I want to give you all a quick once-over real quick so you can see how this thing looks. We're going to jump right back at it on Monday morning, but this thing looks sick. I mean, the whole layout, the back deck area, everything's finished up except for that big hatch. The thing is going to be a little tricky, and I've just been putting it off, but I've got to tackle that thing and finish up this entire back deck. Now, these pieces are not installed yet. They're just sitting up here so you can see what it looks like. This box is pretty cool. This one, it's going to have the removable box. You got screws in here. You can take this out and get up in here and access the stuff. Same thing on the other side. And then we've got this one. I got to figure out the internals for this. This is going to be his rod locker. He's going to have a big rod locker here. You can see I got room to take it all the way up to the nose. So it's going to be at least 7 foot long, maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to play around with that next week and see what we can get with that. Got the floor installed. We got all the verticals going up from the floor to the bottom of the deck, and that not only helps support it, but that gives me somewhere to put all the sheeting. We're gonna sheet this off on all 4 sides in here, and then we'll come back and turf all that. Everything is gonna look sick. I'm gonna run some LEDs and stuff like that in here, really set this thing off. It's really coming together though. I like this box up here. This one's cool. This box is welded solid, and this is going to have 2 big batteries in here that are basically just for the trolling motor. I'm gonna get this trolling motor installed up on the bow. Trolling motor should be coming in next week. I should be finishing up all the hatches next week, getting them off to the powder coaters, and then I'm gonna get Billy to paint this rig. This thing's gonna look sick. I'm thinking that we're gonna end up going with some type of a tan, maybe like a military color camo almost. I still do have to build a recessed foot pedal tray for him. It's gonna drop right in here. And then I got some little sheets I'm gonna put up here just to finish off this front deck. And then I've gotta build the lids for these. These are his little small like day box hatches. He's got one on either side. But this hatch is cool. This was a big hatch right here. It's got a big box in it. This is the same type of deal as these other little boxes in the back. It's got screws in here. This pan will come completely out to give you access to get up inside of there. Now this one's gonna be a little tricky to get out because it's tight, but this is never gonna come out. This is gonna be like an emergency type situation. You got to get in there and get to something. This box is deep. You can fit a lot of stuff inside of here. It's gonna be perfect for him putting his tackle and life jackets and stuff in. But I really like this one. I think this one's dope. And it's gonna be cool to get the rod locker on the other side, but that one's pretty cool. First time I built one of these removable pans that's that size. And then we got the one in the back here too. Same deal. This one's bigger than the one on the other side, and it's gonna be sweet. I'm getting hyped about this thing. I don't think I'm gonna put a pan inside of this one just because it's so shallow. I might, but I might just leave it to where he can have access to get up inside of the back in case he needs to work on the outdrive or the motor or anything like that. But this rig is turning out sick, man. I'm getting hyped that this thing is about to be finished up. I can't wait to put this thing on the water, and it's gonna happen. And it's gonna happen soon. It's pushing about 5 o'clock, guys. It's time for me to get out of here, but I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this jet boat build. If you've ever built a jet boat, I would love to hear your feedback on that. But I got a lot of stuff to do, guys. I'm gonna be working all weekend, shooting some more videos. I'll see y'all next time. Let's get back to work.